Thanks for being here. Welcome to the school 2023-2024 school year. Much of this webinar today will be a live demonstration showing the steps necessary to get a Read Live account set up and ready for students' use. As Christy mentioned, everyone will receive a recording of the webinar. Feel free to play it back and pause here and there when you need to. It can be a lot to take in all at once. All right, let's get started. The agenda and processes I am demonstrating follow along with the steps and instructions you have in the handout. I believe Christy put a link to it in the chat when we started. This is a great takeaway for everyone in case you don't use what you learn right away and need a refresher when the time comes. You will also receive a copy of the handout in a follow-up email after the webinar, and our agenda today is the Read Live suite of products. We're going to talk about Clever single sign-on, Classlink rostering and single sign-on, G Suite for education single sign-on, then logging in, adding schools, adding staff members, students. We'll do a couple individually, and then we'll use an import to do a group of students. And then finally at the end, some additional teacher tools, and then where you can find additional training. With your subscription to Read Live, your students have access to the entire suite, 4 highly effective applications that will help make students better readers. Read Naturally Live, our flagship application, is designed to improve reading fluency, promote vocabulary, and support comprehension. Content includes material for early 1st grade to 8th grade students. Word Warm-Ups Live is Read Naturally's research-based phonics intervention. Its audio-supported lessons allow individualization of phonics instruction and enable students to work independently. The content includes 3 levels, 1, 2, and multi-syllabic words. 1 Minute Reader Live is an independent structured reading activity for developing readers. Content is geared toward early 1st grade readers to mid 5th grade readers. And this is a completely independent program where kids can get started right away. And finally, Read Naturally Live Espanol. The entire student Read Naturally Live interface is delivered in Spanish for bilingual learners. And this content contains levels 1.0 to 5.6. So first off, Classlink rostering with single sign-on. So if you're a school that uses Classlink, we can provide rostering and single sign-on. And what this will entail is a Classlink administrator with the assistance from a Read Live account administrator will configure the integration via the Read Live staff module. The app is delivered to students within Classlink, and once it's configured, student access to Read Live is managed within Classlink. And I can show you that interface quickly. I'm just going to log in. Okay. So it is a single sign-on setup. Here we have Classlink. And this is what you, along with your Classlink administrator would enter. The tenant ID and all of this information will configure Classlink on our end, and you will deploy the app on your end, and that will get it going. And of course, if you have questions, call our support line, 1-800-788-4085, option 3, or support@readnaturally.com. I will say that multiple times throughout this, as the steps can be somewhat confusing. And then we have Clever single sign-on. This is a Read Live administrator configures the Clever district ID in our staff module. Students can be added manually or via our proprietary import, including the student email address. Matching email addresses in Read Live and in Clever will activate the single sign-on with the Read Live SSO app that is shared with students. Again, reach out to us at support if you have any questions about Clever. We also support Google single sign-on. Basically, with Google Single Sign-On, all we need is an email address that matches the student's Google or Gmail address. We provide a special link that is in here in this bullet, api.readnaturally.com, and students can get in with single sign-on, not having to enter an additional user ID and password. Again, reach out to support if you have questions. All right, so I'm going to get into the demonstration aspect of this. So I am going to just go back to my login. I'll just log out and start at the beginning. This is the staff member login page. If I click the house, I have student or staff member. I'm going to click staff member. I'm entering my credentials. And you received this if you are account administrators in an activation email. Reach out to support if you don't have that information and think you should. So I'll point out our orientation page. This is a guided step here of what you can do or what you need to do to get an account set up with students. And from there, I'll go to the home page. This is our home page, and I'm going to show some navigation techniques that you can use when working in the application. Our homepage is listed with tiles. The tiles indicate with bullets what action can be taken within that tile. We also provide the navigation in the upper left, the hamburger menu, lots of different names for this, but it also has the same representation on the left side as the homepage has. So I am going to navigate to some students and just show you some sorting and filtering options that you have. Any field in Read Live in the staff module that has the hamburger menu in front of a column heading means that you can filter by that column. So if I know my student's last name begins with FE, I'm going to click apply, and I will now only see students whose last name begins with FE. Notice the funnel at the end of the column heading here indicates that a filter is set. To clear the filter, click the 3 lines again and just click reset. And now I have my student list back. You can use this in any place that you see those 3 lines. And now again, I'm only seeing the schools at Northview as opposed to all schools. You also are able to sort ascending and descending. So we're sorting last name ascending and now descending. So those are some techniques to help you maneuver within the application. So again, I'm just going to go to the home page. As administrators, these 3 tiles in the beginning are our setup tiles. This is what we use to get the account up and running and ready for student use. Our first tile, account and school administration. This will be a summary of your specific account. I have 200 licenses here. I have 125 available, and when my subscription ends. Account name, these fields here can be changed by you as the account administrator anytime. This account also shows the schools that are within the account. I happen to have these schools. If I wanted to add schools, I would just add another school, name it, and decide how I want to distribute licenses. When you choose school can use any available licenses within the account, it means that if there are 200 licenses, this school can use any that are available. First come, first serve, basically. In a multi-school environment, you may want to limit the number of licenses a specific school gets, and you can do that by clicking this button, reserve exactly this many licenses for this particular school, Blake School, and save and close. I'll just say 16. And now Blake School shows I have 16 reserved. None have been assigned to students. Okay. Schools can be deleted on this page. I do have a scheduled import in progress, which means that it doesn't want me to update the account anymore because there are updates pending. This update that I have pending is part of my demonstration, so I won't be deleting, but any school that has 0 students assigned would be able to be deleted if there were not a pending update to be done right now. So that is our account and school administration. I'm going to just go to the navigation here and logically and chronologically go to the next step, our staff member administration. These are our staff members and teachers that will be working with students and also managing the account and possibly doing progress monitoring for students. Simply click add staff member at the top, type in a name, your name, and the role that this teacher will have. Account administrators obviously have all rights everywhere. School coordinators have all rights to their specific school. And teachers have rights to students whom are assigned to them only. And we will show you that as when we create a, a student with a lead teacher. So you can choose any of these roles. If you want to learn more about the role, click this button, learn more about roles. And here is a detailed accounting of all the rights and abilities that any role can have. I'm going to go to, so we've added our staff members. You want to do your schools, you want to get your schools added, your staff members added, and then we want to move to students. So logically on the navigation, I am going to go to student administration. And here, whoops. Here on our student administration page, we have our options, some options here. Student import, it will be used, this is a proprietary import, but will also work along with Clever and Google. Single sign-on, you can use our import process, that's a CSV, and I will show you that. Here's our single sign-on setup page. Again, we'd click on single sign-on. You would select your single or your option. Again, Classlink, we offer rostering and single sign-on. Clever, here's our Clever setup page. We would enter your district ID as it shows in Clever, and then decide how you would want to match students who might be duplicates. If you only want to match by first name and last name, or if you want to additionally choose user ID and email to match your students. Again, call support if you have questions on these. Google Classroom is another single sign-on. You would just click save here, and that would enable Google single sign-on. This one is already set up for that, so we don't need to do that. All right, so I am going to go back to student administration. And I'm going to student setup, and we're just going to add a couple of, oh, shoot. Okay, I'm going to log into a different account. And I'm going to just add a couple of manual students. And here, just add student, the fields identified with an asterisk, identify a required field. Your just first name, last name, grade, school, because I have multiple schools in this account, I have to choose a school. And I'm choosing and creating a user ID. So with Read Live, a student needs a user ID and a password to log in to our student module. So you are creating this for the student. So make this something that the student remembers or already knows. If it's a lunch number, a student ID, maybe it's just first name, last name. That's what I'm going to do. And if you have an email for the student, an email address, I would highly recommend you entering it. However, we recognize that not all students have them. It will maybe ease down the road for further integrations with rostering and single sign-on. So student user ID, I said, was first initial, last name. For ease of logging in for the student, make the password the same as the user ID. This will ease the login for the student. Manually entering a student like this, we can license the student right away. So I'm going to say yes. I will select a lead teacher, and I am going to give access to the programs I want my student to see. And I will just click save and close. And I am going to now just filter and find that student. So here I am, and this is what I added. Okay. So another way to add students is through an import. If you have a large number of students that you need to add, we can do an import. And so that is located on the student administration page again, from the home page, student administration, student import. Okay, these are the directions right here, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. In step 1, we have a PDF importing student data. This PDF has all the detailed step-by-step, all the field requirements, all values that are allowed or not allowed. But I am going to quickly get us to the template. This is a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet that we'll use as our template. I will download that template and open it. And this is the template that we provided on that first, student import page. So I'm just going to note, leave the file of the column headings as they are shown. And I'm going to show you what is required. So first name is required, last name is required, student grade, student user ID, and student password. Okay, all the other fields can remain blank. I'm going to insert here a column, and I'm going to name it student email, capital S, capital E, and this will be where you would put the student email address if you have it. If you don't have it, it can be blank. If you do have it, it can be fine. So this would look like this if I were in a spreadsheet. I'll go 1. I went with MHT. And I'll do and pretend that we have 30 or 40 of these students that we're adding, and you've added all of this information. If you can get it from your student information systems, you can copy and paste as best you can, but this is the information we need required in Read Live. The contact information up here is for guardian and parent information. You could just type in mother, Jane, her last name, and her email address. And you would be able to email Michelle's parent from the application. So I'm just going to save this import. Sorry, took me a while to get there. Okay, so I've saved this CSV file, and now I'm ready to import. So I'm going to minimize my CSV. I'm going to come here. I'm going to close this I'm going to close this PDF. And now I'm back to my student import page. If you get off of this page, again, from the home page, student administration, student import. And now I'm going to browse. And I am going to open this one as the one that I created. I'm going to choose the school. And this is the result. This is the name that I created, and there's the current contact information with the parent. I'm just following the prompts. It's saying review the students for accuracy. I did. I'll click next. Clicking yes will proceed with scheduling. I'll say yes. And oh, now it's going to tell me I have an error. It's showing in red, and it says the students listed appear to be already enrolled. So this might be a duplicate. So I'm looking at student email. If I hover over um, the yellow indicates the error, and it will show you that right now this Michele Hartman is in Read Live, but her email address is empty and her contact information is empty. So if I'm hovering, it says field is empty. So the field is currently empty, and now I'm putting this in the field. Do I want to? How do I want to handle duplicate students? Do not import or update. I'm going to update. I'm going to click next, proceed with import, yes. And now it's going to be scheduled overnight tonight. And tomorrow, my students that were in that import file are all going to be active and ready to be assigned a license in Read Live. And I got it, shoot, sorry. I want to show you what that looks like. Bulk licensing for administrators. Teachers can license students individually, one at a time. Administrators can do it in bulk. So again, from the home page, student administration, this time student licensing. I'm going to pick a school. And now I see my schools listed. Here again, remember your filters. If you have a grade that all belongs to the same lead teacher, you can filter and just get your second graders. I see that 3 of these students are not yet licensed, so I'm going to check those boxes and assign licenses and choose the lead teacher. And now all students are licensed. I want to show you a bigger list, so I'm going to go back to this other account. There you go, student administration, student licensing. I'm going to choose a school. And so if I know that all my kids in grade 2 are going to be assigned to a specific teacher, I'm going to select them all. And here's a trick. So to select multiple students, check the first student box, get to the bottom, scroll first if you have that large of list, get to the bottom of your list, hold your shift key down and click on the last student, and they will all be highlighted. Assign licenses to selected, choose the lead teacher, and now those students are all licensed as well. Um, when you get students that are both licensed and unlicensed, am I going to be able to see if I what I'm trying to show you is that if I looked at Let Northview, if I had a number of students that were licensed and unlicensed, I could filter out and only look at non-licensed. So now I know who still needs a license, okay? So, and then I can assign those kids are gonna go away, and now I'm just gonna see still the next set of who's not licensed. So I hope that makes sense. That might not have said that very well, but I hope that's working out there. Every time I click over there. Um, so Going to move on to the next slide. So that is what we've just done. We just created a Read Live account with multiple schools, with multiple teachers. We used an import to import multiple students, and we licensed students in bulk. Please reach out to our support line if you have questions. Also, our help page on our web page is a great place to get some help, Read Live help here. We have a number of resources that you can use to, on the left, you'll see a number of videos. On the right, you'll see a number of links to specific steps or specific spots within the applications. Again, Read Live is the name of the suite. Read Naturally Live is the name of the one application. Word Warm-Ups Live, another. Our phonics. Read Naturally Live Espanol. Oh, too fast, mouse. And finally, 1 Minute Reader Live. I hope everyone learned something today. I thank you for joining today. Please ask questions, email support@readnaturally.com. Christy, we do have a couple, 2-3 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions?
I'm not seeing any questions, Michele, but can you go back and show how, can you show how to filter? So on this page, it looks like you have a filter on grade 2. On that
Okay, I'll filter by grade 2. Should I do that right now?
it doesn't matter. I just wanted you to go
Okay,
over the filtering.
the filtering again. Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so again, anywhere you're seeing a group or you have a list of students or teachers, and you see these little 3 lines in front of the column headings, you can filter by that line, meaning you can filter out some things that you don't want to see. So I'm going to use the grade column. I'm going to filter. I'm going to choose 2nd grade because that's all I want to see. And I'm going to click apply. So now my view here is only 2nd graders at Northview. And this is a way to just shrink your list of students to a more manageable size if you're an administrator and looking at a large group. Again, if I want to change my filter, I can on the fly. Again, the filter or the funnel at the end indicates that a filter is set. To clear the filter, click that line and click reset. Thank you, everyone. Please reach out if you have questions. We welcome them. Have a great day.
Thank you all for joining us for today's webinar. Please reach out to support@readnaturally.com or 800-788-4085, option 3 for any questions or concerns you may have. We'll be sending out follow-up emails with links to the webinar recording in about 24 hours. Feel free to share the recording with your colleagues. And please respond to the survey questions that will appear on your screen after the webinar so we can continue to improve the educational experience for all of you in our future webinars. Thank you so much for your participation and enjoy the rest of your day.